to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It's game day for Oregon men's basketball and for Ducks softball. Missy Lombardi's team begins the season today, 4 o'clock Pacific time, if you're live with us here in the 1 o'clock hour in the Country Financial Studio. The Ducks are out in Florida taking on Indiana. You can watch via the Game Changer app, kind of new to the streaming space. And then also, Knight Urezki, our buddy, OSN broadcast intern extraordinaire, the sports director for KWVA, the student radio station. He's got the call also from KWVA, and he's all the way out in Florida. Said he got his own row on the flight. How about that? How about that? Your own row all the way to Florida. Not bad. So Knight Urezki starting out with Oregon softball. And then tonight, 7 o'clock, it's a big one. A Black History Month game against Washington. Ducks, Dogs, 7 o'clock, a 6:30 pregame show. I've got you covered on the Oregon Sports Network, televised on Fox Sports 1. Giveaways at Matthew Knight Arena. You can get yourself some awesome landmark throwback sunglasses and giving away a beanie tonight at Matthew Knight Arena. Game day giveaway, Oregon, Washington, 7 o'clock, Matthew Knight Arena. The Ducks trying to work on their defense heading into this game. We're going to hear from Coach Altman. Also some preseason honors for Duck baseball. And Oregon lacrosse season starts tomorrow. The second Jess Drummond era. The Oregon lacrosse head coach. We're going to chat with her coming up in just a moment. We continue to break down all things Oregon athletics. Let's begin with Coach Altman. He met with the media this week, talking a bit about the games ahead, what to work on. Ducks, drilling defense. It's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Dana Altman talking about the week that was, the matchup with the Huskies tonight at 7 o'clock.
Like Nate's back out there. Is he going to be good to go, you think, for this week?
We had tests run today. I'm not sure what the results were, but he felt good enough to practice, went about half the time, and seemed to be moving okay.
So final determination been made on Keyshawn, and what's the severity there?
I didn't get a chance to talk to Clay today. I was in my office all day and got down right at practice, so I didn't get a chance to catch up with him. So as far as I know, it's still the same as it was a week ago.
Saw Jermaine go down on Saturday. Obviously came back, but no repercussions from
No,
that.
he just turned his ankle. You could see on the film where his foot just flipped over and turned his ankle.
Chance to review the film, Dana. Anything that stands out defensively as far as the areas that need to be addressed, need to be corrected to solve some of this?
It's, we had some really good possessions, but it's every facet of our defense. Our help recovers, we're just hugged up too much with our guys. We gave them some easy baskets in transition early, off of some turnovers. Rebounding, we did a better job after a poor start. They got a couple offensive rebounds early, but we did a better job after that. But we still got beat 5 on the boards. There's no one thing that we can lock in. We just having too many individual breakdowns on too many plays. And when you have a low possession game like that, it becomes much more obvious.
What were your kind of takeaways from that first game against Washington and what you'd like to see them do better this week?
Well, transition D is going to be really important there. They push it pretty good. Wheeler's, really pushing the ball, and Brooks is really talented. They're a talented team. They had a heck of a game at Washington State. I just got an opportunity to watch some of it today. I didn't get a chance to break it down, but, a heck of an overtime game. So, both of these games were one-possession games last time we played them, and we anticipate, they'll be tough, close games again.
What is it about what they do offensively, Dan, over the years, the last 5 years in particular, where there aren't very many teams who shoot as well against you guys as they do over the last 5 years in particular? They've had a lot of games shooting north of 45, north of 50%, and you guys usually don't allow that. Is it just the transition stuff they try to create high probability, or what is it about them that just...
Well, last year, the little guard, we made a player out of him. I can't remember any one particular thing that we've given up to him that has allowed him to do that, but we have had our hands full with Brooks. He's a good player. I don't think there's anything they do offensively. It's us a matter of doing some things defensively. I'm really disappointed. Analytics were way down the list defensively, and I just think we're better than that. And I told the guys that, whether it's me, them, our lack of communication between the coaches and the players, or just the players' communication, whatever it is, we should be a much better defensive team than what we are, and that's my fault. I'm not getting it done, not getting them to guard the way they're capable of, and for February, we're making way too many mistakes, scouting report mistakes, communication mistakes, that I just don't think we need to make. We did a good job. We're doing a better job in practice than we are in games. I wish we'd take some of our Monday, Tuesday practices to Thursday, Saturday, because we do a much better job with nobody in the gym than we are with crowd and national television watching.
We've seen multiple times this year now that this team is good. I mean, they've fallen down early and then found a way to kind of flip a switch and bounce back right away. We saw it on Saturday too. Is there something unique about this team that you've seen that kind of makes them good at that, coming from behind early?
We haven't gotten off to a good start here for a while, and I don't know if putting them to sleep before the game, with my talk or what, but we sure haven't come out, like we did in some earlier games. And jump on people. But, we had bad turnovers the other night and, didn't get any stops. They had, 23 points in 10 minutes. They were on the 100-point pace. We finally got some stops. They, 10 and a half, they 7 of 8 possessions, we got stops. And, Bam finally hit some shots. But, hitting shots is one thing. You got to get some stops when you're down 18, and we finally started getting a few stops.
Did you notice anything different about the players, though, and their mentality when that flip kind of did switch a little bit and they started getting those stops?
Well, we got a little bit of a bad habit of, the really good teams, whether they're hitting shots or not, play with tremendous energy and intensity. And we have a little tendency when ball's not going in not to play with that same intensity. So that bothers me. We've got enough old guys. You kind of expect that from freshmen. That's the way they've always played. But older guys ought to be able to figure out by now that, there's just going to be games that doesn't go in. I always say 10, 10, and 10. You played 30 games. 10 of them you're going to shoot it really good. 10 of them you're not going to shoot it good. And 10 of them you're about average. And on those nights you don't shoot it well, got to win it another way. And we didn't. We didn't get the stops when we needed. I know we didn't shoot it well, but there's going to be those nights. You look at any team in the country, there's just nights it doesn't go in. And we had good looks. We were 1 for 10 from 3 in the second half, and one of them was off the dribble that was a little bit of a tough shot, but we had 8 or 9 pretty good looks. Hit one. You got to find another way to win the game.
Has it been harder this year, Dan, in part because you have a shorter bench, because it's hard to hold somebody accountable if there's an execution error or mental error, because who do you turn to necessarily? And yeah, it'd be lovely to have a Eugene or a Shakur or a Paul White or Boucher or Dillon, but if you don't have that dog, you don't have them. But if you don't have somebody to even turn to correct the mistake.
It does. It makes it, guys say, well, you're letting me play through mistakes, but, you got to hold guys accountable. And, you got to hold yourself. Like, I probably didn't distribute minutes the other night as well as I should have. We had 5 guys play over 30 minutes. They're not used to that. Maybe the reason we missed some of those shots is they were playing more than they usually play. I mean, that's on me. I didn't. And we expended a lot of energy coming back. We were pressing a lot more than we usually do with 6 guys that played. I only played KJ 10 minutes. I didn't play Mo much. So we played basically with 6 guys, and we expended a lot of energy, like I said, in those presses, and that's on me. I didn't get them spread out enough, but when you're in a one-possession game or you're coming back from 18, it's kind of hard to spread those minutes out the way you want to.
Dana Altman talking with the media, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. We're going to get a timeout, come back here a little bit more from the head coach. He did a long interview this week previewing Ducks, Dogs coming up, and I agree. Dave said, hold them under 80. I'm with you. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you is.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. The Ducks against the Huskies tonight, 7 o'clock, 6:30 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. Part 2 of the conversation that Coach Altman had with the media, brought to you by WVCI. Let's hear a little bit more from Coach Altman heading into Ducks Dogs tonight.
Urgency, playing with urgency in February as the season starts to dwindle a little bit.
Oh, we got good guys. They understand where they're at, and they want to do the right things. We just haven't shown the toughness to do it, and I haven't had the demands, enough to do it. So, the flow of the game, I haven't been able to smooth that out any. Substitution patterns have been all over the board, no one. Cario got his first 2 starts, because we were planning on going with Nate, and then Nate doesn't show up, so, but those are all excuses. Guys are used to playing together. Hell, in February you've played enough together. You just got to fight through those things. And so, hopefully Nate, will be okay here, and we, we spread those minutes out a little bit. Dante's really playing at a high level. He got tired on some defensive possessions and was out of position, but gosh dang, watching the film, he got off to a slow start, but after the first 5 minutes, his last 35 minutes, the 30 minutes he played, pretty dang good. And so we got to feed off him a little bit more and figure out a way to get him more shots. They're doubling him every time. He made nice plays, though. He hit Bam for a little layup. The 1-3 we did hit in the second half, he got doubled, kicked it out, ball movement, and Jermaine hit it. He got a couple other threes for guys that we just didn't hit. But, for a guy who's getting a lot of attention defensively, he's sure doing a pretty good job.
Get a sense that, obviously you languish in this stuff, but outside of Jermaine and Dante, do you get a feeling that some of this stuff is on the defensive end is bothering guys like the pillars, the whole team's under 70, under 40%, and win the rebounding battle? You guys haven't done that in Pac-12 play, and that's never happened for you. It's still possible, but I'm sure that drives you up a wall. But outside of those two guys, do you get a sense that there are guys around here who are really bothered by that reality?
Well, there's certain ways to play the game, and for a consistent team, because they're not going to shoot it well every night, those defensive numbers, the rebounding numbers, if you're going to have a consistent team and one that wins consistently, you're going to have those areas, in my opinion, because you're not going to shoot it well every night. And so on those nights we haven't shot it well, and even on some nights that we have shot it well, we defensively have not done a good job. So, it bothers me, and I think it bothers the fellas. We keep harping on those numbers, but connection not quite there. But it's human nature, and agents and parents and girlfriends and everybody telling them, you got to shoot the ball more. Everything's offensive oriented. Press gets, you got to score. There's a lot of different ways to win games. UCLA's proven that. Defensively their numbers are great, and they've won a number. Now they're starting to play better offensively, and they're really a tough out. But we were practicing today, and we'd make a mistake on the offensive end, and all the guys, we come down and give up an easy one, and not one reaction. And I'm just the opposite. We're going to make some mistakes offensively. We can live with those fellas. We don't have to give up these easy baskets, but it's just human nature, and everybody in there telling them, offensively you got to do this, and it's just they miss a shot or somebody doesn't get them the ball, and their reaction is, and we give up an easy one on the defense, and that's all right, let's just go. And that drives me nuts. But anyway, it's just kind of the way guys are geared, and that's, as coaches, you got to kind of get them to realize the other part of it. And what did rat trap or whatever Saban says about listening to everybody, rat poison, you listen to everybody, but we could win a lot more games if we were all locked in defensively. And I know that's the way for consistency. Year in, year out, game in, game out. If you're going to be consistent, you got to guard and rebound. And we have not met our standard, and because of that, we're 15-7, and defensively, if we don't get things turned around here in the next 5-6 weeks, we're not going to accomplish, what we set out to accomplish. And We're going to have to do it with fewer numbers. Our guys on the perimeter are going to have to stay out of foul trouble, but they're going to have to get up. And I think we're, if Nate's able to come back here, I think inside between Nate and Dante and Mo and KJ, we got plenty there. We're going to have to do a little better job on the perimeter. And, we're going to have to get Jackson some blows because, we just played him too much the other night and he got worn down. And, so we're just going to I'm going to have to do a better job of distributing those minutes on the perimeter.
You talked about wanting to see guys locked in and all that, but on the other side of the coin, maybe the perspective of having that kids group in today and getting to interact with them and kind of maybe be reminded of the bigger picture a little bit. What did you think of having that group in today and watching your guys interact with them?
Well, I hope so. We all, at some point in time, feel sorry for ourselves thinking we got it tough. Sometimes it's good to have a different perspective. I read a few of the things which some of our guests today have been through, their families. And, our guys just sat there, you could tell, that they're thinking maybe they don't have it as bad as they think they have it. And, none of them are fathers yet, but, our coaches are, and you start thinking about, what if that was one of your children, and some of the things that they have to go through and how tough they are and how tough those families are. If it doesn't put a different perspective on it for our guys, they need to wake up because I can't imagine that as a father. Those kids with smiles on their faces out there playing with our guys and knowing what they've been through, that resiliency, that toughness that the families, that those kids showed. Like I said, if it doesn't make an impression on them, there's something wrong because it sure made an impression on me in the last 14 years. We've been fortunate enough to work with the Children's Hospital, and every year it makes an impression on me. So I sure hope that it does because we like to do it every year with them, and it does put everything in perspective.
So what Coach was talking about, if you're unfamiliar, last 14 years, as Coach mentioned, they've partnered with the Children's Hospital, and there's a lot of youth going through difficult things, right? They bring them out to practice. And I tell you, it's impactful. Every time I've been there that it happens at practice, it's impactful for the team. Makes you think about it. And then, as Coach alluded to, I'm now a father. Made me think about it. That happened on Monday when the Ducks had those guests of honor, truly, at practice. And I think the perspective does change a little bit. Let's hope it translates into some success on the floor tonight. Ducks Dogs, 7 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena. Some giveaways, free sunglasses, free beanie. Not a bad day at Matthew Knight Arena. When we come back, how about a good day at Pape Field on Friday? Jess Drummond, the Oregon alumna, and now the head coach for Oregon Lacrosse in her first year, her first matchup as head coach coming up on Friday night. That's coming up next. Stick with us. Jess Drummond after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider. It's presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. So Duck softball on the road today. Also in action, Oregon men's golf today with some updates coming. We'll have them for you tomorrow as their round finishes up. 7 o'clock tonight, Oregon men's basketball at Matthew Knight Arena. And then tomorrow, a ton of Oregon sports going on. But the big one at home, the debut of Jess Drummond at Pape Field. Well, really the re-debut of Jess Drummond, though, in an Oregon lacrosse uniform. The head coach for the Ducks, an Oregon alum. We got to know her as we sat down yesterday afternoon and previewed the start of the season. Got to know the new head coach for the Ducks, Jess Drummond. Okay, I got to get something out of the way first, all right? So we just did the pre-interview for a few minutes because it's the first time that Jessica Drummond has been in the Country Financial Studio. So when you were a student athlete, the studio hadn't been built yet. So now as the head coach, which we have been referring to on the show as the second Jess Drummond era.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because the first was you as a student athlete.
Yeah.
Now this is the second Jess Drummond era for Oregon lacrosse. That means that you are completely unfamiliar with all of the traditions that have come since we built the studio. Yes?
Yeah, I didn't even know this was a thing. So.
This is excellent, which means that you get to do what we affectionately refer to as the 2-minute life story.
That's right. Okay.
See? Okay. The 2-minute life story. We're competitive. We will time you. Goal is to get as close to 2 minutes as possible. Are you ready?
And I pick what's important to share.
Yes.
Like, of the 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
I could read your entire bio to fans, but I mean, I did when you got hired, but now this is your time.
Okay.
Okay, 2-minute life story. You ready?
Okay, no. Give me a countdown.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, first of all, I don't even know how long 2 minutes is, so this could be fast or slow. But I'm already talking so much faster. And I just wasted 10 by laughing. Oh, great. Okay, so born in Michigan, moved to New Hampshire when I was 5, grew up on the East Coast until my senior year of high school, moved back to Michigan, did senior year there, and then came out to Oregon. I'm one of 4 siblings. I've my 2 parents. They're born and raised out of Michigan, over 60 cousins, which is insane family. But we moved to the East Coast for my dad's job, and that's where we found lacrosse and loved it. I say we have a twin sister, so built-in best friend there. We loved lacrosse from the start, started playing in 4th grade. And, we played on a private league in New Hampshire, got recruited to Oregon there, chose Oregon because it was so cool. And my parents were like, go somewhere far, like, go check it out. Why not? And we're like, okay, now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, you really want us far. Got it.
Yeah.
And it was great. Loved it out here. Being one of 4, our family was like, you got to figure out a way to pay for school. And so we're like, okay, sports, we'll find a way to get a scholarship. And they were like, Division I's kind of the only one that can earn you that amount of money to pay for a lot of it. So we just knew we had to start being competitive young. And so loved all sports. We played a bunch growing up and came to Oregon. Loved it. Stellar squad, fantastic leaders. The coaches were awesome. The sport was still growing out here, and so it was fun to be a part of something that was much bigger than just the East Coast where everyone knew what it was. So growing the game out here was really, really special. And then loved coaching. My dad was a football coach for my brothers growing up, and so that kind of sparked my interest. And then when my sister and I moved to Michigan, that team we played for was East Grand Rapids, and they didn't really play a lot of lacrosse. Like, it wasn't that popular, and so it felt like we were kind of stepping into that role of coaching. The coach asked us a lot of questions. We helped, before and after practice, like helping with practice plans and giving extra work for players. So that was already kind of an organic start to coaching. And then played here, loved it here, got a job at Dartmouth right after college, then went to Vermont for 7 years, assistant there, then associate head coach, and I was never going to leave Vermont unless this job opened up. So this was the dream job, and I got it, and I'm here in your chair. Was that long?
That was 2:25.
Fudge.
Well done.
No, it felt so rushed, and 10 seconds was laughing in the beginning. But,
then really it was like 2:15. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
We could motion in the studio to remove 10 seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Okay,
all right.
great.
So
Thanks.
2:15. That's good. That's good. Most people, it's like under a minute. Student athletes are like, I don't have enough to say.
Yeah.
Right. But you coach for a while. You got a longer life to tell.
Yeah. I don't know that was just like a blueprint. So I'm like, cut out half the stories here.
But 2 minutes is tough to encapsulate.
Have you done this too?
Well done. I have. A lot of people have asked me. Fans have heard it many a time. I think the closest I've gotten is like what was I, like 2:05 one time? It was like the best I ever did.
I just wanted to be yours.
Oh,
can't. I'll work on it.
Actually, I got 2:27.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
So,
thank you.
Okay. Part of why I do that, though, is I'm always interested to learn, what you think of when I ask about you, right? And so lacrosse, being competitive, seems like that's been a big part of your identity, and it is as a coach, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I ended up went to school, getting my master's at Vermont. And one of the professors was like, why are you in getting your master's? Like, you have a job. And I was like, you're right. I just wanted another challenge in life, and I enjoyed that. And
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't need it, but I was getting my master's in education. I was kind of focusing on leadership, and I was like, why not find some new outlets to challenge myself and push myself in ways that I hadn't before? So school was one of those. And yeah, I'm very competitive.
Who's inspired you in your career, in your life, in coaching?
I loved the staff when I was here. J-Lar, J-May. Just J-May as an assistant was everything I embodied when I became an assistant. Is just such a fantastic leader. She was such a good connection between the head coach and the players. She was just, and she played here. And then I wore her number as an athlete, and I was like, oh, I can't let the OG 12 down. And so that was like I just always have her like in the spotlight of mine. And, my dad, like being in sports, my dad was a big one. And I always like, why don't you coach college? He was like, oh, man, I'd love to coach college. And so that's kind of given me a boost of like, oh, I can do this. Like, I'll go live out this dream. That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Where does your energy come from? I'm serious. Like, so, okay, we were talking before we got going that we are the loud room of this corner of the Casanova Center here in the studio. And across from us is the soccer offices. Coach Abel has told me, he might be lying, but he's told me he appreciates our energy, our vibe.
Yeah.
And then you're here, just down the hall, and there's more loudness and a great vibe. Rob Mullins was here on Tuesday, and he was like, the energy is infectious. You got Rob Mullins to do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Like, where's the energy come from? Seriously.
I am an extrovert. I love people. Being around people boosts me up, and like, I'm not your energy. I barge right in here. What's up? Let's go. Let's do this.
She was a few minutes early, and we actually are recording this after the show. And I was half expecting, like in our last segment, now that you're hearing this yesterday, to just be like, what up, everybody? Just Drummond here. But, you almost did it. I know you did.
I really did.
Yes.
I was like, 3, 2, 1, what's up? I'm here. Yeah. Here we go. Let's do this.
Does anybody call you Jessica?
No.
Okay. So, like, when I introduced you, it's one of those things as a broadcaster, right? Like, it's Jessica Drummond on the official bio.
It is.
But then your placard outside your office says Jess Drummond.
Yeah.
So from one nicknamed person to another.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo. I've never been a Joseph.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you want to call me Jessica, that's fine. I just know that you're not one of my close people.
Right.
Yeah, we're not on that level. It's like Jess. My players, when I first met them, I like to be called. I'm not a big coach fan. It's
really?
Like, yeah, because I think it's a cop-out. I think it's like someone can walk down the hallway like, hey, coach. I'm like, oh, do you know who I am, though? Or do you not? And so I like to be way
it's
more.
A sign of respect.
Totally. And that's like a very much coach vibe, but I'm like, I want to get to know you more. I want to be more on that personal level.
That's interesting. I mean, like, I've had this conversation with some people before that, like, I still have coaches that were in my life, and I can't not call them coach.
Yeah.
Like I cannot get
right?
past that.
And I don't know if that's more like a women's side. Like I always called my coaches by their nickname or names. And so I'm a big nickname person. When I was at Vermont, they all called me Drummond. That was just like my name. When they say Coach Drummond, I'm like, oh, that's my dad. Like that's weird.
I get that. It's like Mr. McMurray.
Yes.
No.
So I was like, okay, like getting here, but I met them all on the international trip, and that was more like a Jess vibe than like coach vibe. So we're kind of still in that mix of like, do we call you Jess? Do we call you Drummond? But some people call me JD, which is also cool.
Okay. So now when I introduce you, I can change it every time you come on?
Yeah.
Great.
Today I went to HDC, got some the breakfast there, and Rhonda, Daisy Ducks, was like, Jessie, and I was like, oh my gosh, shoot me in the heart. That was the cutest thing ever. like no one calls me Jessie, and I was like, oh, Daisy Ducks, you can call me Jessie.
That's great. The Daisy Ducks are awesome.
So awesome. She was pumping our game. She was asking everyone, are you going to Lacrosse on Friday? Yep. So she introduced us to a football player, and she was like, you better be there on Friday. And he was like, whoa, okay, Rhonda, we'll be there. So
okay.
Big fan of them.
5 o'clock, by the way, at Pape Field. Starts at home, which is nice. Also on the Oregon live stream. So we could talk. I can already tell. We're going to be able to talk for hours on the show. This is going to be phenomenal.
I asked how long it was, and you're like, I don't know.
Well, I said about 10 minutes. It's going to be about 10 minutes. About. That's why you use the word about. When you
about 10 to 60 minutes.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So for more though on you, a plug for the Mighty Oregon podcast. You sat down, did a little bit of a longer form interview, and we'll be able to do that across the season with you on Duck Insider. But I just wanted fans to get to know you a little bit before we talk about the season upcoming. Your leadership on your team. I know that's important to you. You already named your captains. We talked about that on the show. That's a big deal for any team, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I am such a firm believer of like, I feel like our team has grown, and we have 36 young women, and I was big on, I think sometimes they're like, 6 captains, that's too many. Like, so many people are coming up to me, I'm like, oh, but it makes sense. Like, you divide it, 6 people are leading 6 people, and so there's just so much that goes into being a captain, and I remember having captains of just 3 leading groups of 34 young women. I'm like, gosh, the pressure it is to have to do it all yourself, but having like a leadership group and having that confidence kind of boosts others to join in your pack to kind of lead with you all.
So first one, I imagine there's always some butterflies. Are there butterflies for you as an individual? I mean, leading your alma mater for the first time on Friday?
I mean, of like excitement.
Yeah. Are you more anxious than like nervous? I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm like, is it game time? Like I want it to be game time. On Monday, I was like, oh my gosh, it's game week. But not in like I hope we can do this. It's like, no, like bring me the game. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, I really do thrive under pressure. I love kind of those clutch moments of like, what are you going to do? When the clock's running down? I'm like, I can do this.
What do you want to see from your team Friday, 5 o'clock?
Oh, my gosh. I want them to just go out there and defend Pape. This is our first home game. We've been talking about this week of when people step on Pape, this is our turf, our field, so defend it with all you've got. And so I really hope that they come out there and just go at a level that I know they can play at. Just so much effort to dominate.
It's an unfair question. I say that.
Okay,
I know
here we
this,
go.
but keys to success for the season. I mean, do you have some that are in mind before you even played against somebody that isn't wearing an Oregon uniform at practice?
Yeah, we talk a lot about team first mentality. So everything we're doing is with the team in mind and not putting ourselves before the team. So we before me, all those kind of ways to twist it how you want to, but team first is a huge mentality for us, and celebrating the little things. I think that's such a key component when you've got a season that can span over months of sticking into just doing the little things right. That'll pan out for the entire season.
Jess Drummond, Oregon Lacrosse head coach. Season begins Friday, 5 o'clock against Youngstown State. Coach, thanks for being here. Well done. And I'm told that I'm replacing the mini bat.
Yes, you are.
Is that right? Look at this, everybody. Do you see this? We got a mini lacrosse stick.
Yep.
To add to the studio set.
I come with gifts, too. So excitement and gifts.
You can come back anytime
you want. I don't want this to end.
Yeah. You can come back anytime you want.
I will. I'm literally 3 doors down, so this is great.
Do you guys have lacrosse balls with O's on them?
We'll find some.
Can I put in a request?
Yes.
I would love that in the studio.
A lacrosse ball, a poster, now a lacrosse stick.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah. So before we started, I requested a poster from the first Jess Drummond era be signed by Jess Drummond, and we put it in the studio.
Yeah.
I think we need it. It has to be in the studio.
It's insulting. It's not in. There's not a poster of lacrosse
You're right.
in here. Yeah.
I'm sorry that we've insulted you.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll fix it for you.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Anytime.
Appreciate it. Friday, 5 o'clock, Oregon lacrosse season begins. Head coach, Jess Drummond. Fun. Getting to know her. Really fun getting to know her. When we come back, going to go to football for a moment. Hear a little bit from Tosh Lupoy breaking down that signing class that was completed yesterday. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Hey, Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Going to hear a bit from the defensive coordinator for Oregon football, Tosh Lupoy, from our signing day special yesterday, talking all things defense, myself, Jerry Allen, and the DC, Tosh Lupoy. Coach, thanks for being here. Let's start, maybe. Coach Stein talked a bit about you. What about Coach Stein? What's it been like working with that guy going against his offense in practice?
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, he's a incredibly detailed individual. It's really cool, and this has probably been the most crossover I've experienced, where just an open door at all times for the both of us. So cool, or even going over to each other's house, going out and building a relationship much more than football. But at any point, being able to go in and bounce some things off of each other, show them some things, draw some things up on the board, and I think that's great value to do that. Where I'll be asking if a specific disguise or defense might interrupt a specific route concept, and he's someone that's looks up there and say, well, we actually would option out of that, or it wouldn't even the route wouldn't even develop that way because of the pre-snap look that you're providing. So things of that nature. It's a building that we're constantly growing with each other, and trying to make that show on Saturdays.
That's sweet.
It's been a long road going through the first recruiting period. Now it's done, the second one. What are your emotions right now? What are your feelings about now that the hay's in the barn, so to speak? How are you feeling?
Well, I would disagree with you.
I
don't believe the hay's ever in the barn.
Okay.
So every day is an opportunity for us to improve, to get better. We attacked that process the first 2 days of this week. I know other programs probably approach signing day a little differently. We were out there with the fellas in the grind, right there with them in the morning. Coach Willie Love and an elite strength staff, us supporting them out there, and carrying that right over to a self-scout approach where we're just debriefing, ourself right now of where we went right, where we went wrong, and really trying to attack what we felt like were the weaknesses this season, and put us in a better position to compete for the whole thing.
Defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy. We got about 10 minutes before the head coach Dan Lanning joins us. So you ready to do a little film breakdown with us? Every freshman. All right, we'll talk about every freshman, and then one of the JC guys coming in as well. We're going to go alphabetically by last name, Coach, and then let's start on the defensive line with Mr. Breland, I believe, out of Santa Ana, California.
Yeah, Aiden, I think the most important thing you need to know about him is as a national champion, how many champions can we sign and bring that to our culture. Right before the USC game, he arrived. We were at the warm-ups there. I was running up the tunnel to hug my wife. He was waiting at the base of the tunnel, and he picked me up, and he cracked my rib.
Wow.
And diagnosed by Chief.
No kidding.
So the rest of the season I had a cracked rib. And
wow.
But it was also, that feeling of an absolute beast and me being a helpless man in the air.
Wow. Well, that sums it up, doesn't it? So no pressure, I guess, for an offensive lineman when he comes in contact with him. All right, to the defensive backfield, Dakota Fields to start.
Yeah, DK, he's a guy I love to see when you rise versus specific competition. So Long Beach Poly game, 14 tackles, I believe 2 interceptions, and see him playing at a high level of a rivalry game. I think that stands out a lot about being an elite competitor. Other than that, just visiting him at the house, he has an attack white dog named Lambo. And that's someone always to be aware of if you're in that neighborhood.
All right, good to know. We're getting so much inside knowledge now. I did not know about your ribs. I'm still going back to that, Coach.
They're better now.
That's good. That's good. Aaron Flowers also in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, Aaron Flowers. Just a testament of relentless recruiting, leading with Coach Hampton. Did an elite job there with him and his family. This guy really stood out because we knew what we felt. It came down to us and USC really in the end before he made his verbal commitment. Coach Hampton put an elite Zoom together, and it was one of those things where you put a lot of work towards something, the consistency of every day in the process, but then to show something. And as we're talking through it and going through it, Coach Hamp really led that. And I'm looking through this thing. It was like, I don't care who I am. I'm coming to Oregon no matter what after this presentation.
That's awesome.
All right. And, this is a guy, too, just kind of confirming when he commits to you how hard Alabama, Texas, and Georgia never let off. Like they put on the gas pedal after you watched his senior season where I think some of the immature programs are going to, do their evaluations off of sophomore year or junior year and then stop. The way this guy performed this season at the level he did, we feel like we have arguably, one of the absolute best in the country.
Sweet. Now to the defensive line next.
Yeah, so Tion Gray, I just saw him listed at 285. That was probably like his 4th grade body weight. Definitely in the 330s right now. Giant, large man, and there's nothing more exciting for me when you go in to eat breakfast, or like last night we had a connection meeting with the fellas, nothing to do with football, all about life. After that we ate some dinner, and to go in there and just see these giant, massive men that are, the size of NFL players today as 17 and 18-year-old men. So he's got a long ways to improve. He knows that. We're excited to do that with him and fine-tune his skill set. But from a measurable standpoint, he's certainly got a head start from that. And so you understand, his nickname is Da Issue. D-A Issue.
That sums it up, doesn't it? Also on the defensive line.
Yep, Jericho Johnson, nicknamed Big Co, has his own clothing line.
Good nicknames.
Big Co. Don't know the Twitter or IG or any of those. Not too good at that stuff. But he's this guy really stood out at his game. I was really impressed visiting him in person, and he didn't know we were there. It was me and Coach Tuioti, and you just hear a voice rising in the locker room before the game, and the leadership value. He's a great individual, extremely high character. Some of the stories you hear about this guy where he motivated 7 or 8 teammates to go to church with him during the weekdays. I believe it was Wednesday nights. Highly involved there. Probably the best overall. That's not Jericho, by the way. That's Day Day, just so you guys know. Got this messed up. So, but Jericho, probably the best signing day announcement I've ever seen in my career in 18 years.
Really?
Yeah. So if you guys want to check that out, Ivy is his brother, bona fide rapper and father, also an elite church rapper.
It was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a show.
That's great. Outside linebacker next in Jackson Jones.
Jackson Jones, versatility. That's what sums up this guy right here. Different skill set. He's a guy, as you can see in this film, he's kind of entering from all over the place, attacking internally, rolling off the edge. I think what stands out, too, is his production. He played 5 games this season and had 9 sacks. His junior season, he had 17 sacks. We spell sacks with money sign, A-C-K, money sign, so you guys are aware. And that's what this guy's coming after.
Love that. In the junior college ranks, back to the defensive backfield.
Yeah, I love recruiting a guy. One, he's always going to have a soft spot in my heart being from the Bay, and specifically the EPA here. This guy didn't have it easy at any point in his life, including coming out of high school, didn't qualify, kept working, became a JUCO player, and again, just like we mentioned with Aiden, how many champions can we surround our defense and our culture with? This guy's another national champion from a really great program led by Tim Tolick at CSM that I respect a lot. So I think we know what we're getting with him, and excited about fine-tuning some of these things from a technique standpoint. But you can see a skill set. An exciting individual here that we hope can come lead our defense.
Also in the defensive backfield, early candidate for the all-name team when Kingston is your first name.
That's right. Kingston Lopa, so we refer to him as King. Again, NorCal guy. You know what you're getting when you're signing a Sid Quan Thompson product at the Grant High School. Brother of Shaq Thompson, all right, and a place that, again, not the most friendly neighborhood at all times. So Tennessee tried to get cute at the end. And their car service actually got lost in the neighborhood and stopped and was reverted, and they had to go back to Tennessee.
Linebacker out of Los Angeles next on our list, and Kamar
Matudi, okay? So Matudi, so you guys understand, in Botswana means craftsmanship, one elite with tools and weaponry, all right? This individual plays like that. He represents his last name. He had a Zybeck 4.72, which is an electric 40, which is hand time probably in a 4.5s. Impressive individual, has been working his butt off here. So, excited to clean up some technique with him and attack the process with him.
Defensive backfield, again, also a candidate for the all-name team, Coach.
Yes. We just call this guy Iffy. Don't worry about pronouncing the whole thing. No disrespect to him and his family. Awesome family. Came straight out of Baltimore, St. Francis. Again, you know what you're getting with an individual like that. He can take hard coaching, and he kind of lit the nation up in the All-Star game where he took a pick 6 to the house. So I hope we see a few of those in Autzen.
Linebacker Braden Platt.
So freakish individual, sport athlete, actually threw the shot put as a sophomore over 60 feet.
Wow.
I threw it 47 feet and qualified for NCS. I would not come anywhere near that. That was my senior year, too. So this guy is an impressive, explosive individual. Threw the javelin over 190 feet, which is the top national mark. And he'll actually throw here as well. And, I think it's most important we're going to always look at the P&W first. And once again, just our staff and led by Coach Lanning signing the best of the best 2 seasons in a row. This guy is certainly no short of the best of the P&W.
Elijah Rushing from Tucson.
Yeah, I think Elijah Rushing, one thing that stands out, 31.5 sacks in the last 3 seasons. So production there, it starts there. But he's got all the tangibles. He's 34.5-inch arms, 251 pounds, 6'6", an 81.5-inch wingspan.
Wow.
So those are actually NFL measures today. Now, those were taken when he was 17. So now it's about pushing him, getting him to play at a consistent, hard basis, making that technique show up on game day, and excited to do that with him.
That's pretty sweet. Elijah Rushing, we had a couple more minutes for you talking and breaking things down with Coach Lupoy up against the clock on Duck Insider, but don't worry. You can check it out on the Go Ducks YouTube via our National Signing Day special that we aired yesterday morning. When we come back, some honors for Oregon baseball in the preseason. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Wrap it up, Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Duck basketball is in action tonight. The Oregon men taking on Washington at 7 o'clock, 6:30 pregame across the Oregon Sports Network. Also, though, a pretty fun day for Duck baseball. A fun couple days. Austin Anderson, preseason All-American, announced yesterday. And then Oregon first baseman Jacob Walsh, along with Ducks pitchers Grayson Grinsell and Logan Mercado, have been named to the preseason All-Pac-12 Conference team. That's a vote of the league's coaches released on Thursday. A couple pitchers in Grinsell and Mercado, and then Jacob Walsh on that preseason all-conference team. Duck baseball, we're 8 days away. Ryan Milano's making the trip to Texas with Oregon baseball for that tournament. They're playing in a big one coming up. We'll talk to you from Matthew Knight Arena tonight. Should be a good one. Ducks and Dogs. See you at 7 o'clock.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics.